Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, good. So shall we start now? Are you ready?
Let me turn on my video. Can you see me now?
Yes, great. Okay. Ian, do you want to go first? Anything?
Sorry, I can't hear. Who is actually on the?
It's MaiBlocks.
Hello?
Oh, MaiBlocks. Okay, fine. So the equity factor winner. Okay, fine. Okay, hi. How are you? Sorry. Anyway, I shall just jump straight into the question. What does winning the award means to your company?
It's a great testament to our efforts and to the team's effort. I think we've been looking at this concept of tokenizing assets for a year and a half, and obviously a lot of effort has been put in it by the whole team. And as you all know, this is a very new industry. It's just starting, and so getting this recognition is a great boost of confidence to what we're doing, and I think also help us strengthen our belief that this is the future. I mean, with all that's happening in the world right now, a lot of activities are moving online, becoming more digital, and that includes investments in all sorts of assets. And I think tokenizing assets, digitizing them, putting them on the blockchain is a necessary step. And we think this award, help us kind of continue to plow forward as we try to do this together.
Okay. As part of the community, of this nascent industry, what do you think that we can do more to ensure that the tokenization or the securities will achieve mainstream adoption?
I think there is obviously the more investors and people are willing to try it out and invest into this type of product, the better it is, because that's how the ecosystem grows. I think fundamentally there is a trickiness to this, or an obstacle, which is at the end, whether it's tokenized or not, it's really the underlying asset that people are investing in. And so having good assets with, obviously good financial returns, but also good governance and good protection for the investor, these type of assets are the ones that we really need to put on the blockchain, to have it tokenized, because those are the ones that will attract investors to come in and play this game and try it out. And so, I encourage everyone that's in this business or wanting to get into the business is, try to bring in something that is, good, solid assets, and that will help us grow this ecosystem.
It is kind of, you mentioned that more investors need to come in, but it looks like this is a chicken and egg situation, isn't it? Where there's not many listing in the exchanges, and how do you expect the investors or the institutional investors to be even excited about going into? And while it is a nascent industry, but it has started since 3 years ago. So why do you think exactly that things are not sort of like piecing together?
I think overall, I think the industry is moving in the right direction. I think it is progressing. Obviously not at the speed that we would like, but I think the overall trend is positive. I think with, first there was this aftertaste of, what happened with ICOs. And so a lot of investors are skeptical as to, hey, what does this mean? Tokenized asset? Is it just like another ICO? So that took some time for people to get, kind of understand, oh, this is something very much different. I think two is also having the regulator coming in and starting to license operators, license exchanges, even here in Hong Kong, and other places in Asia and other places in the world. Having these type of very legitimate players in here is very very important to at least create more confidence and establish a better credibility to potential investors. So I think over the next, over the past year, as well as coming in the coming year or two, as more and more of these very legitimate players are coming in, then the investors will feel more comfortable to come in. So it's a little bit more like if you build it, they will come kind of idea. And if you build the right structure, I think more and more, not only investors, but also asset owners would be more willing to put in their assets to come in. Just like the one that we've worked on for this award, we partnered with MaiCapital, which is a licensed asset manager in Hong Kong, one of the first tier that provides investment funds in the blockchain space. And we think this was a great project as a proof of concept for us, because it has very strong governance. So the asset, which is the hedge fund itself, is a very legitimate and also very well structured product. And so having this type of more and more of these type of assets coming in, and with licensed and regulated players coming in, I think that will hopefully attract more investors to come in and also participate.
Okay. Camille, do I still have more time?
Yes, I think we still have 5 minutes, but there are two questions from our side as well.
Well, you can ask the questions then. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Mike. This is Miles from TADS Awards. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Good. So 2 questions, right? So there are a few tokenization platforms out there, and what makes MaiBlocks unique that you were able to win this award?
I think there are many platforms out there. A lot of them are focused purely on the technology and the technical execution to it, which I think is an important aspect, but it's not the only aspect. I think for a project like this to succeed, you need to look at beyond just the technology and look at how ultimately, I mentioned earlier, the governance of it, how are investors' interests protected, whether you're using technology to solve that problem or not. I think that's secondary, but I think it's important to address that problem. And so I think from MaiBlocks' perspective, our founders come from traditional finance space, and our partner MaiCapital is also licensed. And so by looking at kind of the project as a whole, as an investment product, how do you best structure this? Where if there are aspects you can solve with technology, MaiBlocks will do that. If there are other aspects that needs to be solved in a traditional means, at least MaiBlocks will be able to advise the asset owner or the issuance to put that in together. So I think for us, we offer a kind of a more wholesome or comprehensive service to ensure that this product is properly structured. And also, one more thing is, it's beyond structuring and issuance as well, because once you've sold it, the tokens are sold to investors. You need to make sure that throughout the whole life cycle of this token and the assets, it's being properly managed. And so governance, the ongoing governance and ongoing management of the underlying asset is also equally important. And so we try to provide a solution that offers not just the initial structuring and issuance part, but also the ongoing governance aspect of it as well.
Understand. And what is next for MaiBlocks?
We're quite excited, to be recognized for our efforts. And currently, we have a few projects in the pipeline where we're looking at trying to digitize more alternative types of assets, things like ESG related or renewable energy related. We think is a very interesting asset class. We think that this is not only becoming a more and more trendy investment for people, but also these are traditionally very difficult for investors to get access to in terms of investment. And so hopefully through tokenization, we can enable a broader access for investors to get exposure to this type of investment. And at the same time, using blockchain to provide more transparency to the asset itself. So I think that's where we can use the strength of blockchain to make investment into these type of ESG assets to be much more transparent, much more visible to the investors. And so that's kind of what's coming next. And we hope we can continue to do these type of more innovative products out there and enable the whole ecosystem.
Thank you, Michael. We have time for one more question if anyone wants to take it. If otherwise, then yeah, do you have a question, Ian?
Yeah, I'm just wondering that, any advice can you give to future issuers that who are interested to tokenized assets or to have an STO?
I would say is to keep going. I know the industry is not an easy path right now, but I we're a strong believer that the trend is positive and moving in the right direction. So keep plowing through. And as I was saying earlier, I think don't just look at the one aspect of it. Always think of it as ultimately you're creating some sort of a product that an investor is coming in to invest in. So how do you best protect their interest, whether it's using technology or not, whatever it is, but you need to think about how to structure this whole thing where the investor feels they have a maximum protection. And I think having that mindset, I think could help a lot and goes a long way.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I have one question for Mark.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, hi, it's Neha from Forum8. So I have one question as in, what do you do for the protection of the investor? As in, is there any insurance in place already? And what type of fields are you putting on the smart contract for securing the interest of the investment?
Sorry, I didn't get the last question. The last part of your second question. What kind of thing?
What type of fields do you put on the smart contract for securing the interest of investors as well as the project?
Okay. So for your first part, we do have a lot of protection on the asset. So for this particular one that we won the award with, the asset is actually a hedge fund. And we made sure the hedge fund is actually properly managed by third parties and also licensed parties and experienced parties. So My Capital is being one as SFC licensed. The legal advisor for us is Silly Austin, one of the top in the world. So we make sure, as I was saying earlier, the governance of it is protected. This hedge fund invests into, particularly this hedge fund invests into things like Bitcoin, and there's some strategies to it. But under that, there's also insurance that's put in place to ensure the Bitcoin and the assets you invest in are also protected. So things like that is in place. What we put on the blockchain, on a smart contract. So there are a few things where a traditional security token would need, things like whitelisting, restrictive transfers, and we also put part of essentially the share register or the cap table of the fund also on the blockchain. So these basically become very transparent for anyone that wants to look into the blockchain to see what's happening. That's all up there.
Okay, great. So I think time is up. Thank you very much, Michael. Anyone, if you have any questions, just feel free to send it to us and I will pass it over and give you more answers. Okay? Okay, thank you very much, Michael. Thanks for your time.